In the vast, silent expanse where heaven and earth blur into endless mist, the path of immortality grows ever more treacherous. Legends are not born in peace, but forged in blood, betrayal, and the unyielding will to defy fate itself. Wang Lin stands once more at the edge of the unknown, his enemies hidden in shadow, his heart tempered by countless trials. The echoes of past battles still linger, and the fragile balance between life and death threatens to shatter at any moment. Each step he takes now carries the weight of destiny, and the cost of a single miscalculation may be everything. In this chapter of Recap Renegade Immortal, chapter 563, 564, the storm quietly gathers. Secrets deepen, intentions blur, and the line between ally and foe grows dangerously thin. What schemes lie ahead? What hidden forces begin to stir beneath the surface? As the winds of fate begin to howl, one question remains. When the next move is made, will it lead to ascension or utter annihilation? Cold words can kill more surely than any blade. The instant those trembling words entered Sima Yan's ears, it was as though winter had descended into his bones. His whole body shook. A deadly chill spread through him, from skin to marrow, and even the air around him seemed to turn bleak. Half a year after you left, the two of them disappeared. I don't know where they went. Wang Lin's gaze turned frostier than iron beneath a moonless sky. He did not waste another breath on empty questioning. His fingers came together like a sword edge, and in one swift motion, he stabbed them toward the space between Sima Yan's brows. Once more, he unleashed the soul search technique. Sima Yan's body convulsed violently, like a fish dragged onto dry land. Blood burst from his eyes, nose, ears, and mouth. His eyes bulged so wide it seemed they might tear free at any moment. Wang Lin's divine sense plunged deeper and deeper into Sima Yan's mind, raking through memory after memory. The events of the last year unfolded before him one by one, clear as reflections on black water. Half a year after Wang Lin had departed, 13 and Hu Pao fell into conflict. Hu Pao no longer wished to wait and chose to return to the tribe. 13, however, remained stubborn to the end. He was determined to stay and wait here for Wang Lin's return. In the end, Hu Pao left. But he never truly escaped. Sima Yan captured him with ease, then used the excuse of breaking army regulations to cripple his cultivation. After that, he cast Hu Pao into the dark prison. 3 months later, Hu Pao vanished without a trace. The dark prison was guarded with extreme strictness. Its defenses were severe, its watch unbroken. Even Sima Yan himself never learned how Hu Pao disappeared from such a place. As for 13, he had tried to save Hu Pao, but in the end he was no match for Sima Yan. Sima Yan shattered his meridians, crushed his bones, and prepared to throw him into the dungeon as well, intending for him to die there just like Hu Pao. Yet before that could happen, the chief commander happened upon the scene and took 13 away. All of these memories flashed through Wang Lin's eyes, and the coldness in those eyes deepened. Then Wang Lin laughed. It was not laughter filled with joy. It was the laughter of killing intent forced into sound. He said only one word, 3 times in succession. Good, good. As his gaze rested on Sima Yan's protruding eyes, the killing chill within him surged to an even darker level. Wang Lin activated the celestial slaughter art. Instantly, Sima Yan's body began to shrivel. Only a few breaths later, a thunderous bang rang out. Sima Yan's body exploded apart, flesh scattering across the surrounding ground. From some of those broken pieces, thin strands of gray gas drifted upward, then gathered between Wang Lin's fingers. The celestial slaughter art was not easy to wield. It was a profound and harsh art, difficult to control and even harder to refine. Yet, in this moment of blazing fury, Wang Lin had successfully refined a life seal from Sima Yan. After ending Sima Yan's life, Wang Lin turned his head and looked toward the burly man standing not far away. From the memories he had just searched, Wang Lin already knew. It was this man who had taken 13 away when he was hovering at death's edge. Wang Lin stepped once. That single step carried him across the distance, and he appeared directly before the burly man. His voice was cold enough to freeze blood. "Where is 13?" The burly man in black armor looked straight at Wang Lin. He stared for a moment, considered something, and then spoke. "The one you mean, is he that barbarian Sima Yan crippled half a year ago? If that is who you are searching for, then asking me will do you no good." The demon general issued an order to gather people with powerful bodies. That barbarian had gathered all his demonic spiritual energy into his flesh, and he had used some unknown method to temper his body. I saw that he fit the demon general's requirements. So I healed him and presented him to the demon general as a gift. Commander Wang, if you truly have the ability, then don't posture here before me. Do you dare go and ask the Lord Demon General yourself? You may relax on one thing. I would not lie about matters involving the Demon General. A sneer spread across the burly man's face as he looked at Wang Lin. Wang Lin's expression darkened like thunderclouds pressing over a mountain ridge. You saved 13, then handed him over to the Demon General. Those two acts cancel each other. I will not kill you. As soon as the words fell, Wang Lin's body transformed into a cloud of green smoke. He shot into the sky and flew straight toward the Demon General's palace. The burly man had spoken in desperation. He had already been defeated and had not expected to leave alive. So when Wang Lin spared him, he was genuinely shaken. He lifted his head and watched that streak of green smoke vanish toward the horizon. After hesitating for a moment, he finally spoke aloud. Half a year ago, the Demon General entered closed-door cultivation and sealed all the transfer arrays. If you want to get in now, the only way left is to force your way inside. He pressed a hand to his chest and slowly walked away. His injuries were severe. He needed to return to his own palace and heal. High above, Wang Lin flew through the air as a stream of green smoke. At the same time, his divine scent spread outward and swept across the region. Every transfer array within ancient demon city that connected to the Demon General's palace had been shut down. These formations had not failed on their own. They had been sealed from the opposite side. Unless the Demon General personally reopened them from within, no one could pass through. 13 and Hu Pao came to ancient demon city because of me. I was the one who pulled them into this. Wang Lin sighed inwardly. When he had left before, he had never expected to fall asleep inside that cave. Because of one twist of fate after another, both 13 and Hu Pao had been dragged into suffering on his account. In this world, there are things that happen and things that do not happen. Cultivators seek long life. They seek to cast off fate, avoid calamity, and encounter fortunate chances. 13 and Hu Pao are not truly close to me. To storm the Demon General's palace for them means setting myself against the Demon General and against all of Sky Demon Country. The sensible path would be to avoid danger, to stay far from misfortune. By all reason, none of this is worth it. But I, Wang Lin, do not wish to live by convention. If one day I am to seek the Tao of Heaven, then I must live without owing my heart a debt. I am not a gentleman. I am not a villain. I am not upright, nor am I hypocritical. Yet in a lifetime, there are some things that must be done simply because they must be done. From that point of view, perhaps I am not fit to be a cultivator, and yet some matters cannot be left undone. If I do not save 13, then what Tao am I even pursuing? Wang Lin lifted his gaze toward the sky. At that moment, his heart was settled. Between the military camp and the Demon General's palace stood 6 gates. Since the transfer arrays could not be used, there was only one road left. He would break through them. One gate after another. Each of the 6 gates was guarded heavily, inside and out, and the entire palace was wrapped in a great formation that forbade teleportation. Wang Lin appeared outside the 6th gate. The gate towered more than 100 feet high, joined seamlessly to the outer wall. Restrictions flickered constantly across its surface, flashing like cold fire. The moment Wang Lin appeared, a guard beside the gate shouted sharply, "Halt, stranger! Stop where you are and withdraw at once. Take one more step, and you will be slain without mercy." Wang Lin raised his head. A cold light appeared in his eyes. He took a deep breath, then touched his bag of holding. At once the celestial sword shot forth. It circled around him, bright and sharp, while Shu Liguo's savage roars rang again and again from within the blade. The instant the celestial sword appeared, the guards outside the 6th gate all revealed killing intent. Their gazes locked onto Wang Lin. Wang Lin took a single step forward. Immediately, the guards charged. Demonic spiritual energy erupted from them as they rushed to stop him. But Wang Lin did not slow. He continued forward, one step after another, calm and unwavering. Around him, the celestial sword slashed through the air. Anyone who wished to block his path had to survive that sword first. One miserable cry after another echoed through the area. Then Wang Lin stepped onto the celestial sword itself and shot directly toward the gate. Before his footing had even fully stabilized, a streak of sword energy burst out and smashed into the sixth gate. Boom! The sixth gate shattered violently. Endless fragments blasted backward. In the great square between the sixth and fifth gates, thousands of demon soldiers had already gathered, and those flying fragments forced them to recoil. The very moment the sixth gate was destroyed, Wang Lin stepped inside. "I wish to meet the demon general." His tone was calm, yet beneath that calm lay a growing majesty, one that spread slowly outward like pressure from a rising storm. "Kill!" Thousands of demon soldiers roared the command in unison, their voices boiling with murderous intent. They had received strict orders. Anyone who dared force entry while the demon general was in closed-door cultivation was to be killed on sight. Wang Lin remained expressionless. Before the mass of thousands, his eyes only became colder. He stepped off the celestial sword, formed a seal with one hand, and waved it. At once, a strange wind appeared. In the middle of the square, that wind twisted into a tornado. It swept across the battlefield at astonishing speed, tearing a path straight through the thousands of demon soldiers. Wang Lin walked along that forcibly opened road and crossed the square in a single advance, arriving before the fifth gate. He did not hesitate even slightly. His hand formed another seal. Celestial spiritual energy surged inside his body. He pressed that force onto the fifth gate. With a thunderous detonation, the fifth gate exploded apart. The impact was terrifying. Splintered fragments flew out in every direction like a storm of iron and stone. Beyond the fifth gate, more than 10,000 demon soldiers had already learned that someone was attempting to break into the demon general's palace. They had rushed over and filled the space beyond. And at the instant the fifth gate collapsed, those 10,000 plus demon soldiers roared together. Their demonic spiritual energy united through some strange, mysterious method, fusing into a vast and oppressive tide. The moment the gate shattered, that mass of demonic spiritual energy shot forward wildly. Even Wang Lin, with his cultivation, was forced to retreat several steps to evade its direct strike. At the same instant, he slapped his bag of holding. 3 nameless sword sheaths from Suzaku shot outward. A moment later, 3 streams of sword energy burst from them like furious dragons, colliding head-on with that great wave of demonic spiritual energy. Explosions rang out in a chain without end. The very earth seemed to shudder beneath the impact. Wang Lin's body flashed like lightning. With the celestial sword opening the way before him, he surged through the ruined gate. Ahead, the 10,000 demon soldiers joined their demonic spiritual energy into a great wall, attempting to halt him and keep him from advancing any farther. A sharp light appeared in Wang Lin's eyes. He took out the restriction flag. With a single shake, countless restrictions poured forth like black dragons, coiling and circling around him. Borrowing the sword energy from the 3 sword sheaths, the cutting power of the celestial sword, and the black restriction energy from the restriction flag, Wang Lin crashed through every obstacle in his path and continued forward without slowing. At that same time, the thousands of demon soldiers from the fifth gate rushed in behind him and sealed off his retreat, surrounding him from the rear as well. "Lord Demon General, Wang Lin requests an audience." His voice spread slowly through the palace grounds. He believed that even in closed-door cultivation, the Demon General should still be able to hear him. But time passed, and the Demon General offered no response. By now, Wang Lin was surrounded on all sides by demon soldiers. Until this point, he had tried not to kill. But now, he had no choice. Encircled from every direction, Wang Lin raised his thumb. The finger of death revealed its full power. Heaven and earth changed color. Every demon soldier within 1,000 feet shuddered violently. Their bodies withered where they stood, and all of their flesh, blood, and demonic spiritual energy were drawn into Wang Lin's thumb. Wang Lin's figure shot forward like a bolt of lightning, racing toward the fourth gate. At this moment, there was no one here capable of delaying him, even for the span of half a breath. In a flash, his thumb landed on the fourth gate. The fourth gate collapsed with a tremendous bang, and from behind it, an old figure stepped out. Powerful demonic spiritual energy surged from that elder's body and transformed into a giant python. The monstrous serpent lunged forward, seeking to swallow Wang Lin whole. At the same time, the old man shouted in a loud voice, "Retreat!" Wang Lin's thumb met the python formed from demonic spiritual energy. Wang Lin himself was forced back one step, but the python let out a shrill and miserable cry. Then its body began collapsing inch by inch. As the python fell apart, the old figure trembled, groaned, and staggered backwards several steps before finally regaining his footing. Wang Lin took one step forward and walked directly past the fourth gate. Inside, before him, stood not only countless demon soldiers, but also a white-haired old man. Wang Lin recognized him at once. This was the very same elder who had come to the military camp with the steward more than a year ago. The old man's face had turned utterly pale. His eyes were filled with disbelief. He had seen Wang Lin over a year earlier, and at that time their cultivation levels had been nearly equal. Yet now, when they met again, Wang Lin's cultivation had risen enormously. If not for borrowing the power of the demon soldiers, breaking every seal inside his own body, and launching what was essentially a sneak attack, he would not have pushed Wang Lin back even that one step. Wang Lin stepped into the area and once again used the force of the finger of death. The old man roared. All of the demonic spiritual energy inside him surged out and took the form of another giant python. Then his body merged into that python, and together they lunged once more to devour Wang Lin. Since Lord Demon General refuses to see me, then do not blame me for slaughtering my way through. Wang Lin's eyes turned colder still. Between his fingers, gray slaughter gas appeared and spread rapidly. His eyes suddenly glowed red. Within them was a monstrous killing intent so dense it seemed capable of staining the sky. At this moment, Wang Lin no longer held back. He unleashed the celestial slaughter art without restraint. The slaughter aura spread across heaven and earth. Wang Lin did not clash head-on with the python. Instead, he plunged straight into the demon soldiers. Every movement of his hand produced a spell. Every spell took lives. Together with the troops from the 5th and 6th gates, tens of thousands of demon soldiers now surrounded him. Their demonic spiritual energy linked together to form one formation after another. As soon as those formations were completed, they would immediately condense into demonic beasts or masses of demonic gas, then crash toward Wang Lin in relentless waves. Explosions and collisions rang out without end as the formations continued their assault. Facing so many demon soldiers, Wang Lin understood something very clearly. One man alone did not possess enough power to defy the heavens. Unless one's cultivation had already reached a heavenly level, breaking through formations woven by tens of thousands of demon soldiers was extraordinarily difficult. He could kill 1, 10, 100, 1,000, even 10,000. But once the killing was done, his celestial spiritual energy would also be drained dry. Under the control of his divine sense, Wang Lin's magic treasures, the celestial sword, the half-moon blade, the restriction flag, and the sword sheaths, began an endless slaughter. Yet compared with those treasures, the celestial slaughter art held the greatest advantage. Each time that art killed, it absorbed a trace of strength. Although perhaps only 1 in every 100 deaths would condense a strand of gray gas as the bodies piled higher and the dead grew more numerous, that difference slowly began to close. Killing intent filled Wang Lin's eyes as he cast spell after spell, but the demon soldiers were too many, and whenever their demonic spiritual energy merged, they could unleash attacks of terrifying power. Thus, even though Wang Lin's cultivation had reached the peak of the late stage of soul transformation, his celestial spiritual energy was being burned away at an alarming rate. Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding again. A large number of celestial jades flew out and began circling around him. He absorbed them frantically, draining each piece dry to replenish the celestial spiritual energy within his body. Again and again, this cycle repeated, causing his reserves of celestial spiritual energy to be consumed in massive quantities. Demonic finger! This time, Wang Lin did not activate the demonic ideal. Instead, he used the full force of his peak late-stage soul transformation cultivation to cast the Khan killing spell. The demonic spiritual energy in the surrounding air was instantly pushed aside by the force emanating from that finger. Wang Lin's finger descended like the hand of the Reaper. The demonic spiritual energy carried by that finger drilled into the bodies of the demon soldiers and made them explode apart. Blood-colored light burst across heaven and earth. Wang Lin charged forward, hacking open a road through tens of thousands of demon soldiers as he rushed straight toward the third gate. With that one finger, the flesh and blood strewn across the ground gathered together and formed a blood dragon. That dragon roared and rushed in the very direction pointed to by the demonic finger. The old man inside the python tried to stop the blood dragon, but at that instant, his body suddenly exploded. He died beneath the power of the demonic finger. The blood dragon formed by the demonic finger slammed into the third gate. After a thunderous series of rumbles, the third gate collapsed, and the moment it fell, tens of thousands of demon soldiers poured out from within. Along with them came 6 white-haired elders. The instant they appeared, all 6 locked their eyes onto Wang Lin. Wang Lin let out a quiet sigh. This was the limit of what his current cultivation could force through by ordinary means. None of the 5 elders who had appeared were weaker than late-stage soul transformation cultivators. With those elders added to the tens of thousands of demon soldiers already surrounding him, Wang Lin knew one thing beyond doubt. If he wished to break through even the second gate, then he had to use his final move, the ultimate killing spell taught to him by Situ Nan, the most terrifying of the 3 killing spells, a heaven-shaking art, infinitely close to a low-grade celestial spell. The third killing spell, the demon spirit land, truly is a place that exalts military strength. If I commanded hundreds of thousands of demon soldiers at the core formation stage, then even an ascendant cultivator would have to fall. If I commanded millions of core formation demon soldiers, together with commanders and a general whose cultivation matched the chief commander, then I could even contend with a late-stage ascendant cultivator. And if I stood as a demon emperor with tens of millions of demon soldiers, several demon generals, and a few chief commanders under my banner, then I would not fear even those who had stepped into the yin and yang stage. Wang Lin sighed again as he looked upon the tens of thousands of demon soldiers and the 5 elders whose strength matched late-stage soul transformation cultivators. Then he slowly raised the little finger of his right hand, and with calm, deliberate motion, he traced a circle in the air. Underworld. He spoke only that single word, the underworld finger, the crown of the 3 killing spells, a technique infinitely close to a low-grade celestial spell. Even Situ Nan had hesitated greatly before passing this art to Wang Lin. With that one finger, the sky darkened in an instant. Lightning crashed down. At the same time, it seemed as though a giant pair of invisible hands tore open the heavens, and a vast mountain and river painting appeared across the horizon, covering the sky itself. The underworld finger activated Wang Lin's domain. From within the life and death scroll, countless strands of gray gas flew out and condensed at an unimaginable speed, forming a second underworld finger. Wang Lin's hair lifted and danced, though there was no wind. His eyes brimmed with killing intent. Gray gas coiled around his body as he connected himself to that second underworld finger born from the life and death scroll. At the command of a single finger, the tens of thousands of demon soldiers surrounding Wang Lin all trembled. From the tops of their heads, strands of gray gas streamed outward and fused into the underworld, finger emerging from the scroll. At the same time, Wang Lin rose into the air and merged together with that underworld finger. At that moment, it was as if Wang Lin himself had vanished. What remained was only a finger pointed toward the underworld. The moment he fused with it, Wang Lin shot forward toward the second gate. The 5 old men whose cultivation matched late-stage soul transformation were all shaken by the might of the underworld finger. But they gritted their teeth and forced the demonic spiritual energy in their bodies into motion, trying to stop Wang Lin. They had misjudged its power. Back when Wang Lin was only at the middle stage of soul transformation, he had used this very technique to fight Sun Tao, who stood at the middle stage of ascendant. Although Wang Lin had ultimately been defeated, even Sun Tao had been greatly shocked, and now Wang Lin's cultivation had already reached the peak of the late stage of soul transformation. At this level, the underworld finger was powerful enough to threaten ascendant cultivators. This was Wang Lin's true trump card. With that single finger, The five elders all coughed blood. All five were driven backward against their will. Not one of them could delay Wang Lin by even half a step. Before Wang Lin had even fully arrived, the second gate was already torn apart by the pressure of the underworld finger. Behind the second gate there were no demon soldiers. There was only one person. That person was very small in stature, but his eyes flashed like lightning. At the instant the second gate collapsed, and Wang Lin's underworld finger closed in, the small man roared. His hands moved through seal after seal like a cultivator casting divine arts. The layers of seal stacked over one another, and then he thrust them forward. A sound like a violent storm sweeping over the land exploded outward. Wang Lin's underworld finger halted 3 inches from the man's hand. Between that hand and Wang Lin's finger, a tiny sphere appeared. It was completely white, but within it danced black lightning. The small man endured for 3 breaths. Then he was forced backward, leaving 2 deep gouges in the ground as he slid. He did not retreat because he wished to. He retreated because Wang Lin's underworld finger pushed him back. He had no choice. If he insisted on resisting without yielding, then he knew clearly that he would not survive it. To block it by force would mean only one end, his body exploding apart. He was driven back more than 100 feet before he gave a furious roar and forcibly halted himself. Yet even then, Wang Lin's underworld finger remained only 3 inches from him, still devouring his vitality like a whirlpool. Commander Wang, I am the #1 chief commander beneath the demon general. What is it that you want exactly? I want to meet the demon general. And the instant Wang Lin finished speaking, a great amount of gray gas rose from the tens of thousands of demon soldiers behind him. That gas came from every direction and rushed swiftly into Wang Lin's body. This was the might of the underworld finger. As the enormous quantity of gray gas entered him, Wang Lin understood clearly in his heart. Every strand represented a life. With that gray gas entering his body, the power of the underworld finger climbed to its absolute peak. The small man felt that peak power at once. His face changed drastically. He continued to retreat. This time, Wang Lin drove him all the way back to the first gate. Then, with a deafening bang, the first gate collapsed. At the same moment, the small man coughed up a mouthful of blood and was flung aside. And just then, from behind the first gate, a tall figure stepped out. This person said nothing. He did not waste even a word. The instant he appeared, he threw a punch directly at Wang Lin's underworld finger. In that very moment, Wang Lin clearly sensed the battle intent contained within that fist. 10 collapsed fist intent. The fist intent descended like an overwhelming flood. First collapse, second collapse, third collapse. In less than the span of an eye blink, all 10 layers of fist intent erupted, each one fiercer than the last. 7th collapse, 8th collapse, 9th collapse. The endless fist intent seemed to fuse together with heaven and earth themselves before crashing down in full force. The gray gas around Wang Lin grew denser and denser, and the killing intent in his eyes rose to a monstrous height. Then the 10th collapse arrived. A world-shaking bang erupted. Ripples appeared on the ground between Wang Lin and that tall figure, then spread outward in every direction at astonishing speed. They resembled great waves rolling across the sea, surging outward for more than 5 kilometers. Before the dust could settle, before the echoes of destruction could fade, a force descended, so overwhelming, so suffocating, that even the heavens seemed to recoil. In that instant, Wang Lin felt it, not as a simple pressure, but as something vast, something ancient, something that could crush mountains into ash. A sharp cracking sound rang out from his pinky, the very finger that carried the underworld power. The invisible force surged through him like a raging torrent, spreading across every inch of his body. His feet were dragged backward. The ground beneath him tore apart as 2 deep scars formed, carving across the earth like wounds. 30 feet. Only after being pushed that far did Wang Lin force himself to halt, planting his foot down with grim determination. And then, the aftermath exploded outward. The demon soldiers whose lives had already been stolen by the underworld finger, their bodies disintegrated completely, turning into drifting dust that scattered into the wind. Buildings within 5 kilometers collapsed one after another. Stone shattered, wood splintered. The sky trembled with the roar of destruction. The collapsing ruins and shattered bodies created a violent air blast that surged outward, sweeping across the land like a storm. Only those whose cultivation had reached the level of soul transformation or higher could withstand this catastrophe. And amidst the chaos, from the scattered flesh and remnants of slaughter, strands of slaughter aura formed, drawn by an unseen force, rushing toward Wang Lin like blood returning to its source. Then a voice echoed, low, heavy, filled with restrained power. What a terrifying technique! The dust slowly parted, and there stood the demon general. His towering figure emerged like a mountain revealed after a storm. But even as he spoke, his body trembled slightly. He had been pushed back. His demonic spiritual energy surged wildly within him, stabilizing his stance, suppressing the force that had nearly thrown him away. His eyes flashed like lightning. In a single step, he crossed 30 feet. Then, with no hesitation, his palm slammed down onto the ground. A violent gust erupted. The land within 5 kilometers transformed, no longer earth, but a vast, surging ocean. A sea made not of water, but of demonic spiritual energy. The entire ocean roared. Waves rose, furious and alive, charging toward Wang Lin with unstoppable momentum. Endure my 100-wave demon sea, and only then will you earn the right to speak with me. Wang Lin retreated. His body moved swiftly, but his mind was even faster. The moment the sea appeared, he sensed the change. Demonic spiritual energy, which should have been intangible, had become real, visible, tangible. That single palm strike had given it form, transforming emptiness into a raging ocean. The waves surged, crashed, devoured everything in their path. Compared to the 10 collapse punch, this technique was even more terrifying. Its intent far surpassed even the peak of the 10th collapse. And as Wang Lin faced this endless sea, a thought flashed through his mind. Long ago on planet Suzaku, there had been a legend, a cultivator so powerful that he transformed the sea into mist, creating the strange phenomenon known as the Sea of Devils. At the time, Wang Lin had been shocked, but he had not truly believed it until now. Today, he had witnessed it with his own eyes. The demon general had done something similar, turning invisible energy into a visible, roaring sea. Shock filled Wang Lin's heart. But more than shock, there was realization and deep contemplation. The waves rose higher, stacking upon one another. 10, 20, 30 towering waves formed, layer upon layer, like a collapsing sky. Wang Lin continued retreating. But this was not defeat. This was time. Time to think. Time to break through. The 30 waves chased him relentlessly. His hands moved rapidly, forming restriction after restriction, layers of defense to halt their advance. But before those waves, those restrictions were nothing more than fragile paper. They shattered instantly, disintegrating into black specks of light. The waves grew more violent, more unstoppable. Wang Lin's eyes gleamed. He was about to retrieve blood jades from Xianxia's storage when suddenly a golden symbol appeared in his mind. It surfaced without warning, imprinting itself deeply within his consciousness. Yet Wang Lin ignored it. Without hesitation, he crushed a large number of blood jades. Blood-red light erupted. It spread rapidly, enveloping his entire body like a protective barrier. And at that very moment, the 30 waves crashed down. Boom, boom! Like furious tides smashing against an unyielding cliff, the blood-colored light trembled, held on for a few breaths, then collapsed. The waves surged forward once more, and in that critical moment, the golden symbol within Wang Lin's mind grew clearer, deeper, more profound. Wang Lin's eyes shone brightly. At his level of cultivation, his mind was tempered, perfect, unshakable. Nothing should appear randomly within it. Yet this symbol not only appeared, it pulsed violently, as if it wanted to break free, as if it demanded to be unleashed. Its flashing disrupted his thoughts. Even the flow of celestial spiritual energy within his body was affected. But Wang Lin did not panic. Instead, he understood. There is no wind without cause. If this symbol had appeared, then it must have meaning. He made a decision. He opened his mind. His hand moved. A restriction formed. Gray gas gathered before him. Then, his finger swept across it. One stroke. The gray gas twisted, forming a symbol. The moment it appeared, clarity flooded his mind. An overwhelming urge surged within him. Power, yearning to be released. The demon general's eyes narrowed. From his perspective, the symbol seemed ordinary, powerless. Yet, why would Wang Lin use it now at such a moment? It could not be simple. Wang Lin's finger moved again. A second stroke. A 2-stroke symbol appeared. The demon general's expression grew serious, because now he felt it, a pressure, as if he were facing the heavens themselves. Then, a third stroke. The symbol was complete, and in that instant, the golden symbol within Wang Lin's mind melted, transforming into a stream of golden force that fused with the newly formed symbol. A terrifying power erupted. It radiated outward. The demon general's heart tightened. Without hesitation, he acted. The 30 waves became 60, doubling in an instant. They surged forward with unstoppable force. The collision came. Thunder roared across the land. The symbol met the first 30 waves and crushed them, but its light dimmed. Then it collided with the next 30 waves. Both forces annihilated each other. Silence followed, for a heartbeat. Then, from the place where the symbol vanished, 3 strands of gray gas appeared, like arrows, piercing through the remnants of the demon sea, charging straight at the demon general. His eyes narrowed sharply. Armor, activate, with a single word. A curtain of demonic spiritual energy appeared 7 feet before him. The gray strands struck it. The impact shook the air violently. Then they were deflected, thrown back, dimmer than before. The demon general's eyes lit up. He laughed, stepping forward. What an extraordinary symbol technique. Wang Lin, I truly underestimated you. His voice grew deeper. But it seems this symbol still holds more secrets. Why not show me everything and fight me properly? Wang Lin's gaze turned cold. Where is 13? The demon general chuckled. We can talk after the battle. His eyes burned like torches. Wang Lin stepped back, his voice calm but filled with certainty. If I use my final technique, you will die. The demon general's eyes gleamed with excitement. Oh? Then show me. If it can truly kill me, I will have no regrets. With a wave of his hand, 40 more waves formed, crashing toward Wang Lin, but Wang Lin did not meet them. Instead, he rose, soaring hundreds of feet into the sky. Then he looked down. Below him, the demon general stood surrounded by waves. 40 of them circled him like dragons. At that moment, he resembled a god of the demonic sea. Wang Lin closed his eyes. His thoughts deepened. This opponent was stronger than expected. The 10 collapse punch was only a fragment of his power. This 100-wave demon sea, that was his true killing move. And who knew what else he concealed? Though their cultivation levels were equal, the demon general's techniques were far superior. Wang Lin had to admit, in terms of spells, he was lacking. Even with treasures, victory was uncertain. This was the first time in centuries that Wang Lin faced someone at the same level, and felt this. If he made a single mistake, he would lose, and worse, he was inside the enemy's city. His goal was to save 13. If he were injured, that chance would vanish. So he chose a different path, a strategy, a deception. Floating in the sky, eyes closed, he recalled something, a memory from the celestial realm, a giant handprint, ancient, unfathomable. He had once studied it, observed it for a long time, even used it once against Red Butterfly. But back then, it had no true power, only form. Yet its presence was beyond comprehension. The moment it appeared, its pressure alone was overwhelming. Now, that memory took shape in his mind. His state of mind changed, returning to that moment of comprehension. Then his eyes opened, and within them was something indescribable. With a single glance, he looked down upon the world, as if all creation lay beneath him. As for the demon general, he was no more than an ant. The moment the demon general saw that gaze, his heart trembled violently. This gaze. I've only felt this when facing the ancient demon in the temple. Even the demon emperor does not possess this. His body shook. The waves around him spiraled chaotically. Then Wang Lin raised his right hand and pressed downward. The sky darkened. Mysterious forces gathered, condensing beneath him, forming an enormous palm, vast, terrifying, unimaginable. And then he pressed it down.